it's going to be a message that I believe that will resonate with you as it did with me. And it's something that I want you to think about your goals and dreams. Think about the things that you've said that you want to do with your life. And I think that this conversation that I'm going to have with you now will help you to begin to move with a sense of urgency, become more purposeful in how you approach your life and how you use your time, because of the fact that time is the lifeblood of life. And what you do with the time that you have left on the planet. Dealing with the coronavirus has done something for me. It helped me to begin to face the reality, even more so, that I have an expiration date, and not in a morbid sense, because nobody has figured out how to get out of life alive. But I was in a conversation with Jerry, one of my business partners, and he said something that really grabbed me, and it kept me up last night. And he said, and I want you to write this down, the journey that I have traveled up to this point is longer than the journey that I have left. Listen, I don't know whether or not this is making any sense to you. If that makes any sense to you, what he said, the journey that I have traveled so far is longer than the journey that I have left. And he said that. I'm 75. And so this journey that I've been on, all the things I've done, all the things I've seen, all the things that I experienced, all the things that I have learned, that journey is longer than the journey that I have left. And it was something that I don't know whether or not that hits you like it hit me. How much time do you have left? I don't know. And so therefore, when you look at your life in that context, at least for me, I'm looking at doing several things. And the reason I'm sharing this with you, I want to talk to people who are hungry to make an impact with their lives, who are hungry to make this year and all the years after the greatest time in your journey in this experience of life, the best you've ever had. That's who I want to talk to, because a lot of people don't know we're going to leave here. It's a part of the process. It's one of the seasons of life. And one of the seasons of life is enlightenment. One of the seasons of life is that you go through some stuff. One of the seasons of life is that you reach points in your life that you have some major breakthroughs. This was a breakthrough moment as I looked at and started reviewing what I'm going to get out of this year. There's no conversation that people are having now about Happy New Year. They're through saying those celebratory things now. But when I'm looking at my life as a father, as a grandfather, and as a great grandfather, that what I do, how I approach my life, how I use my time, who I spend time with, who I will even get a telephone call from and speak to, that this is the time, and I want you to write this down. I want to share some points, because my goal is to finish strong. I want to finish strong. I don't want to just casually get to the end of life and, oh, well, that was a nice ride. No. My goal is to finish strong. There's some things that I want to get done in 21. And I'm looking for some people who feel the same way. But how many of you listening to me right now that you want to finish strong? See, here's what I know about this thing called life. It is so unpredictable, unpredictable. And unlike any time that I've ever experienced in being on the planet, I've never been in a place where you are mindful of the very air that you breathe. Two things you need in this thing called life that I know that's required. One is the ability to breathe. That's major. Without breath, you can't be here. Either you or a machine connected to you, that has to help you with the process. The journey that has brought me this far, this journey that I've traveled through God's grace and mercy that allows me to be here now talking to you, that journey is longer than the journey that I have left. And my goal and my commitment with my life and the time that I have left is to teach people how to make this year, to get it done in 21 and the years thereafter, the best you spent on the planet. Because you've gone through some stuff. You've lived through some stuff. You survived some stuff. You've made some stuff happen. You've made some mistakes. Some things have happened to you. And you've had some impact, and you've created some stories. See, I believe that all of us are born with stories of greatness within us. And then as we go through this experience called life, you wake up one day and you say, where did time go? I ask my son 3 times a day, what day is this? Tell me again, John Leslie. And the reason I didn't say what day it was, he told me, already forgot. This is what happened when you turn 75. You forget things. Oh my God. I used to ask my mother, Mama, why do y'all say, I thank the Lord for waking me up in my right mind this morning every Sunday? She said, don't worry, you live long enough, you'll find out. Okay, all right. Okay, all right. Let me collect myself. Okay, so I'm thinking about that, and so the question becomes, to me, what are you going to do now on this journey that you have? If you, the journey that you have left, the path and the place where you are now, and as you look ahead and you look back, I said the other day, I said, look back and thank God. Look around and praise God. Go within and seek God, and look ahead and allow God to order your steps. Follow his word. And so this journey that I'm on, and knowing that the distance ahead for me is shorter than the distance I have come thus far. I want you to write this down, please. Write this down. And that is, live with a sense of urgency. Live with a sense of urgency. And people that are living with a sense of urgency, they spend their time doing things, one, that's them. That's them. This, what I'm doing now, this is me. It's not work. I can give a speech. I've given a speech. I was sick to my stomach. I was hurting in my body, going through all kinds of challenges. But when it was time, I remember I was at this event, and my son Calvin was with me, and I'd been suffering from sciatica pain. And so he brought me in back of the stage, and there I was having challenges walking, but he brought me in a wheelchair because I couldn't stand up at that time because of the sciatica pain. And then as we were waiting backstage for the person to introduce me, I noticed Calvin didn't say anything to me. And usually before I go out to speak, we will have a conversation. He'll give me some idea of something that came to him that would be helpful to my presentation. And I'm saying to myself, why is he not saying, Dad, you can do this. You got this. Knowing that here I am sitting in this wheelchair backstage. I've never done this before. And I don't know if I have the strength and the energy to stand up and be on that stage and give a speech. They had a stool out there for me to sit on, but how does he know? What's up with that? Why is he not giving the motivator some motivation? I'm human. I need some motivation too. And so when they introduced me, he opened the curtain and they had the microphone right in front of that opening where it was. And I walked to it. I only had to take about 3 or 4 steps, and I grabbed the microphone and I gave the presentation, got a standing ovation later. So when he wheeled me back to my room, I said, Calvin, why didn't you say something to me that would encourage me and give me the mindset that I can give this speech today? He said, Daddy, when I saw how close the microphone stand was to the curtains, I knew that was walking distance for you. And I knew once you got to that mic and you put your hand on it, that it was done. I knew that sciatica was not going to stop you. I knew that once your hand touched that microphone, you were going to give that speech. And when I saw that, I said, we're okay now. He'll be just fine. And he was right, because once I grabbed that microphone, I went into another place. I went into a zone, because I was doing that which I came here to do. It touches me now just thinking about it. You came here to do something. And I'm encouraging you, don't rule it out saying, well, I don't know if you can do it. Well, so what? Eye has not seen. What do you think that means? There's some things that you can do that you've never seen before. We're in a place now where we've never been before. Eye has not seen, ear has not heard, nor is in the heart of mankind what God has in store for you. What's in you that you're able to do? That's why they have a term called breakthrough, that your life is a breakthrough moment. And so when I think about that and think about what I was going to share with you today, that this is a time. I have a friend named Dr. Stan. They call him Dr. Breakthroughs, Stan Harris. And he talks about living your life in a way in terms of having breakthroughs. And I think we should have those in various areas of our lives, that we must live with a sense of urgency, one, and two, and that's making every moment count. And the other thing is have breakthrough thinking. Look at ways in which in various areas of your life that you have breakthroughs, that you take your performance to the next level, that those things that you've been talking about and you've been operating at this level, but now you're at a place now, I'm going to get through this. I'm going to take it to another level. When I was a kid, the high jump in the Olympics was 6 feet. And a guy named John Thomas was a brother who he was a high jumper and had the record in the world. And so during that time when you jumped, as kids, when we played in the backyard, we would have somebody hold a stick and you run and you would just jump over it. And then, but he developed a strategy. Most people were just jumping forward to jump over it. But he developed a strategy that you could sizzle, and what they call the sizzle, that you raise your leg and that front leg, and then the other leg come behind it, right? Then there's something that came along called the Fosbury flop. Same event, but there's a guy, it was named after him. And when he jumped, he was able to raise his body high enough in the air, and he would go over the pole head first and bring the body behind him. Same event, but different strategy. And as a result of that different strategy, he was able to maximize his impact. He was able to jump 7 feet that you couldn't do it physically, just using the method that had been used, or that approach up to that particular point. Now, tell me what you mean, Les. I'm trying to stay with you. Well, here's what I mean. That there's some things that you are doing, and that you perhaps have not succeeded using the approach that you now have. And that many people, when they're going after their goals and dreams, they have failure after failure after failure because they are doing something in the same way. I think that's why Einstein said the thinking that has brought me this far has created some problems that this thinking can't solve. And that's when I came to the concept, and I want you to get my book called You Gotta Be Hungry. And so what happened is that as you look at your life, a lot of people, when they fail over and over and over again using the approach that they now are using, they stop. I'm suggesting change your approach, but don't change your decision. Am I making sense to you? Change your approach. Get some help. I believe ask for help, not because you're weak, but because you want to remain strong. And ask for help, and don't stop until you get it. Because you've failed at it thus far does not mean that it can't be done by you. It's just that the approach that you're using now does not work. And there's some things that we're supposed to do that many people using the same method, the same team, the same relationships, the same information, the same approach, and they stop saying it can't be done. I remember as a kid, we used to say to illustrate whether or not someone can accomplish something and whether or not they could not, to illustrate the impossibility of them accomplishing something, we would say, oh, you got a chance of doing that as a man going to the moon. Shut up. Get away from me. Hey, we've gone to the moon. We don't say that anymore because when I was a kid, it was seen as impossible for man to go to the moon. That's no longer a reality. The Wright brothers, when they were able to create a vehicle that was only up in the air for about 6 seconds, up to that point, the belief was for centuries, man couldn't fly. Because if God wanted man to fly, he'd have given him wings. You will never fly. You're not a bird. Get used to it. You're not even a pigeon. Get used to it. Might be a pigeon in your thinking, but you cannot fly. That was the belief. But the Wright brothers, who came along, and their father was a minister, and that was his belief, they had breakthrough thinking, and they changed the approach on what it would take to transport our bodies in the air. You came here to do something. Some people know right away. Nina Simone, who climbed up on a piano at 5 and started playing by ear. Some people know right away of what that is. And there are some, the majority, because they have not been exposed or seen something, that they have the abilities of greatness that they have within them that they can do, but they have not seen anybody doing it yet. So they don't even try. That's why one of the most important things we can do for our children is expose them to things so that they can begin to see themselves in other people. When I was at Booker T. Washington High School, when I saw Mr. Leroy Washington, I was exposed to this man who said to me, young man, go in front of the room and work this problem out for me. Oh, sir, I can't do that. Why not? I'm not one of your students. Look at me. Yes, sir. Go and do what I'm asking you to do anyhow. I can't, sir. And then the other students started laughing, saying, he's DT. He's got a twin brother, Wesley. Wesley is smart. He's DT. And he asked, what's DT? He's the dumb twin. And I said, I am, sir. And he came from behind his desk and he looked at me. He said, don't you ever say that again. Someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality. And so how people live their lives is a result of the story they believe about themselves. And because I was called the dumb twin, because when I was in the 5th grade, I was put back from the 5th grade to the 4th grade, and Mrs. Mary Ford Williams, who was the principal at Douglas Elementary School in Overtown in Miami, came in and said, please point out the kids that are causing all of the problems. And I was among those. They can't learn. We're going to put them in a special class by themselves. The kids called us the dodos. I was in the dodo ward. Bullying didn't just start. That's how they bullied us. We were in the dodos ward. We ate together and we were in the class by ourselves. We only went with other kids to the cafeteria at eating time, at lunchtime, and physical education. Other than that, the dodos were all in one room because the belief was we could not learn. We were dumb. And then this man spoke. Because now in dodo ward, they don't give you anything to do but entertain each other, and you color and you play and you clown around, because the belief was there ain't gonna be nothing. No one, listen to me, write this down, please. No one, I don't care what anybody tells you about your child. No one, they should label jars, not people. No one rises to low expectation. And when you have low expectation for people, you treat them in a certain way. Did you hear what I just said? You treat them a certain way. How you look at them, how you talk to them, what your expectations are for them, and the tools that you make available for them, and the time, the energy, and the effort that you put in with them. People learn differently. I'm among those. I can't write a speech, but guess what? I can give you a speech. Writing it just straight out, that's not my style. I have to talk into a computer or a recorder and have it transcribed. That's my style. Everybody have their own style of how they approach this thing called life. And with the help of a Mike Williams, I went from just speaking and clowning in class and speaking at churches and elementary schools and high school to speaking at major corporations around the world. What happened? Same speaker, same person, but I met someone that showed me here's how you can have a breakthrough in your ability with that gift of gab that you use when you're playing a card game called Bid Whist. Oh, you've never been to Boston. I'll take you there. That same personality that you use when you're playing cards and when you're playing chess. Oh, the game at first, it was called Hess, but my middle name is Calvin. And so they put C in front of H-E-S-S after me. So that same personality, he took this person that you see now that was labeled educable, mentally retarded, and took this voice and this story and a different approach that allowed me to be able to change people's lives. When Miles Monroe, Dr. Miles Monroe, I talk about him a lot. I miss him. He said, rob the cemetery of your genius. Just look at your life right now. I'm asking you to look at your life. Just begin to review yourself. This distance that you've come thus far, that distance is longer than the distance that you have left. And I encourage you, if you're ready to maximize that, I encourage you, if you're ready to live from your greatness, I'm encouraging you, if you're ready to take a chance on you, well, what if I don't make it? So what? Nat Turner, he never lived to see us being free, but he struck a blow that ultimately broke the back of slavery. And millions of other brothers and sisters. Live with a sense of urgency. Be willing to change your approach. Get some help. Most people won't ask for help. Why? Because of pride. Pride cometh before a fall. Because of ego edging God out. It's a time you got to live this same life like you mean business. Like you mean business. If you believe this is a different time, you know, time is so different. It seems like the days are faster now. I don't know if it's because of my age, but it just seems like they're gone. That's gone. Here's what I know. The older you get, seem like you don't get 30 days out of the month. You get about 15 or 20. And if you owe a lot of money at the end of the month, you might get 2 weeks out of a month. Well, that's the way it's. Didn't I just pay that bill yesterday? Don't tell me. I know I just paid that bill yesterday. No, Daddy, no. I'm telling you, it seems like when you owe a lot of money, it's just the time go by so fast. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. It seems like, oh my goodness, the days are just flying by. And when I wake up in the morning, I look at myself and I always say, I thank God for being able to wake up this morning in my right mind. All things work together for good for those who love God and those who are called according to his purpose. Lord, whatever I face today, together you and I can handle it. What day is it you said? I believe that life is for living, for loving, and being healthy, and living a meaningful life, a purposeful life. Why purposeful? Well, because it narrows your choices. I spent time talking to my son last night. I said, I don't have a void in my life because I don't know who my father was that I'm aware of. I'm adopted, okay? But what I was saying to him, I said, the conversation that I'm going to have with you right now is a conversation if I knew my father that he would have with me. And right now, I'm feeling that. I'm going to talk to you and share some things with you that I've seen, that I've experienced. And ultimately, it's your call. It's your choice. But I've seen a thing or two. I know a thing or two. I can't make the choices for you. All I can share with you to minimize the pain and disappointment and just living a life that's not you, that does not represent the highest that's within you. I'm going to talk to you now about some things that I'm encouraging you to do so that your future you, your future life that's in you will say, man, I'm glad you did that. Wow, I'm glad you made that choice. I said, are you with me? He said, yes, sir, Dad. I said, don't you have anything to say? Well, he said, well, I'm not going to argue for my limitations. All right, because I was telling him about something. I said, you don't want to do that. That's not going to help you. Make choices and ask yourself the question, is this going to bring the best out of me? Is this moving my life in the direction that represent the highest that is within me? Or is this going to take me down a path at some point in time I will regret that I made this choice? Robert Frost, come forth, please. Two roads diverge in a yellow wood, and I selected the road less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. The road to life is straight and narrow, and few there be that find it, because few there be that are willing to be disciplined. Few there be that are willing to listen. Few there be that are coachable. Few there be that are willing to leverage the experiences of other people so they can maximize their impact in this thing called life. You can't tell them anything. There's nothing worse than arrogance and ignorance. People who think they know and they don't know. If you're not one of those people and you're ready to be coached, or you're ready for breakthrough thinking, as Dr. Stan would say, Dr. Breakthrough. Yeah. Hello, I got it like that. As Reverend Ike would say, you can't lose with the stuff I use. Oh, behave. Why are you laughing? You got to laugh today. You got to find ways and create special moments. I'm creating a moment that we spend together. You're going to be saying to some of your friends, you know what? I watched that crazy boy Les Brown, Mamie Brown's baby boy. He had me rolling, child. He needs some help. He's a little touch in the head, really. He cut his flat top off too. Yeah, he used to be looking like Kid and Play from House Party. Yeah, he cut the flat top off. Somebody got to him. No, they did not. Not. I just did it because it's a new year. I'm going to get it done in 21. There's some things I'm determined to do, determined to accomplish. What is it that you're determined to do? That you are determined to accomplish, that you've been going at it again and again and again, and you fail, and now you're ready to quit, or you've already quit. I'm saying to you, come, Lazarus, come forth. Had to call him 3 times. Come on, you got the power to come out of there. Lazarus, didn't you hear me? You know something. People watching say, I think Jerusalem Slim has lost it. He calling, we told him the man's dead. Yeah, there are a lot of people walking around with a lot of potential in them that's dead. Greatness in them, that's dead. Genius in them, that's dead. Abilities and talents that need to be resurrected, that's dead. Greatness and abilities to change the world that need to be called forth 3 times. Lazarus, come forth. Whoa, wow. He said, brothers and sisters start running from everywhere. Oh, my Lord, good Lord. That's a good Google move. They say he's on fire. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Wow. The distance that I have traveled so far is longer than the distance I have left. Is that the same for you? We don't know how much time we have left. If that's the same for you, Have you had some setbacks and failures and you have convinced yourself it can't be done? No. Change your approach, but don't change your decision. Get some help, because by changing your approach and getting some help, you can take your performance and your impact to another level. By getting the right help and the right coaching, you can live a life that will outlive you. Oh, you have greatness in you. Yes, yes, absolutely you do. It's not judged by how much money you have or your materialistic possessions. It's not judged by that. No, no. I've never seen an ambulance or hearse at a funeral carrying some money behind it or furniture or a home and dragging all that stuff out to the cemetery. No, they don't bury you with homes, with your brand new car, your Rolex watch. No, no, you're going to leave it all here. When Howard Hughes, who was the richest man in the world, died, somebody asked on the plane, how much did he leave? And the answer was, all of it. Guess what? Vi Clark, my friend who passed, she said, life don't owe me any change. I've lived life my way. Live your life in such a way that life don't owe you any change. Or you got a goal, a dream. Just say, you know, I got this dream that keeps showing up and it's up in my face, something that I want to do with my life. Okay, all right. I got you. I know that. I had this goal and dream of buying my mother a home, and I did it. I did it. I'm working with somebody right now who they have the same dream. I said, good. I'm going to show you how to do that. They came to me, and we have a form that people fill out where we vet and find out, what is it you want to do? What's your goal? What's your dream? If you are hungry to win, if you're hungry to overcome your fears, if you're hungry to learn how to use your voice, if you're hungry to live a larger life, if you're hungry to live a life of adventure, Helen Keller said that life is either a daring adventure or it's boring. If you're hungry to transition out of a job that's not you and want to learn how to do something that is you, if you are in that kind of place and you know that you just feel it in your heart of hearts, the best is yet to come. The best in me is yet to come. What I've gone through will not define me. The best is yet to come. Greater is he that's in me than he that's in the world. The best is yet to come. You are more than a conqueror. The best is yet to come. Be with that. Know that. And live your life from that place of power.